Truly hydrate, queens. Okay, queens and kings out there. If you're having a little bit of a bad day, and maybe you just haven't had enough water. Truly, it's having a headache. Hydrate. Going through an emotional spiral. Hydrate. It's not going to solve everything, but it will help.
Hello and welcome back to Hate Spinnerbait, podcast where we hate spinnerbait, but we love 2017.
Yes, it was a time.
It was definitely a time.
It was not unlike now, where a crazy man was president.
Yep.
But maybe better, maybe worse. Probably better. I don't know.
Better.
It was better.
Things were a little less fascism back then, a little less dictatorship, a little less activists going missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Touche. Elon Musk wasn't involved, so that's.
That was at least 6 kids ago for him.
Yeah, at least 6 kids ago, for sure. I think him and Nick Cannon are in a competition, honestly. Who can have more? Well, yes. I guess we'll find out, you know. I don't want to find out, but I think we're gonna.
At least Nick Cannon claims them? Question mark?
True. I think he does. Are we giving him too much credit? Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I think he does. I think like every time he posts about them, which means he is clearly claiming them, right? So I'm going to give him enough credit to say at least he is claiming them. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Kudos to you, Nick Cannon, on that. And that alone.
Also, Elon Musk's daughter, Vivian, just did like a thing on Threads where she basically was saying that Elon paid for the IVF to produce a boy when Vivian was born. She was supposed to be a boy. Yeah. And so her being transgender, he sees it as like a money loss, basically, like not getting the product he paid for.
Yeah.
And I'm like
transaction to him, which is disgusting.
I don't know.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine like feeling that way? Don't be a parent if you don't want to be a parent. I said it before. I'll say it again. Alas. Hi, it is us. We're like 2 minutes in. We haven't introduced ourselves. So
2 minutes in, we're already talking shit about Elon Musk.
We're already talking shit about Elon Musk. But this is our life now, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. This is what we do. Hi, everyone. It is I, Bethany. And with me is the birthday girl herself. The entire month of March, you get to claim. That's how it works. Michael Ann, who just had a birthday recently, but also she gets to celebrate the entire month. Because you best believe I will be giving her gift at the end of the month when I see her, because I'm certainly not going to ship it. I'm like, I'm seeing her at the end of the month. It's fine. After my disaster of trying to buy a cup, no, I've given up. I was like, you're going to get it at the end of the month. Congrats. Mazel tov.
My friend Victoria that's coming on the trip I'm also giving her present at Screaming in the Woods. Her birthday, her big 3-0 is on St. Patrick's Day. So shout out.
We respect. Yeah. Happy St. Patty's Day and happy birthday to Victoria. So there's a lot to celebrate in the month of March. Screaming into the Woods. Many great people's birthdays, probably also some bad people's birthdays, but we won't discuss them. I have no idea who else is born in March. Just in case it's someone bad. I wanted to throw out the disclaimer. But yes, how was the birthday? Good times were had, shenanigans were had.
Good times were had. I didn't do much, to be honest. I kind of just chilled at home.
Great birthday. Yes, I love that.
I just watched The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which has all of me right now.
I feel like our last protagonist would have really respected how you spent your birthday. Our girl, Sydney.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think so, too. And I think we would have had the same opinions of the ladies of Salt Lake City.
Yeah. You would have been on the same teams. I really love that this book is like the colors of our podcast. It's really, really working for me.
I was like,
I had to throw that out there.
I was so happy making the like social media things today. I was like, ooh.
100%. I respect that. Before we go any further, everyone, sad news. That's not really sad news. But in case no one ever pays this much attention, my mother is the only person who probably pays this much attention to the wall behind me. But in case anyone is noticing, you're not deceived. There is a blank spot here, a blank space, if you will. That would have been a better pun to do. Sadly, our dear beloved Evermore fell to the ground and broke. Here she is. sad. And not my like favorite album. So sadly she needs to be fixed. I will be making a new one to replace her, but until then, probably just for this week. I'm fixing it this weekend. It is broken, but in good spirit. It was broken because my dear, sweet, sweet parents. This is for you, Mom, because I know you wanted me to talk about this on the pod. Just kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding.
You're not kidding.
But yeah, this is for you, Mom. But my dear, sweet parents. So seriously, they are amazing, and they came to visit me. And unbeknownst to them, they were going to help me move mattresses and go pick up bed frames because we got a mattress for the guest room. And then when the mattress came in, I was like, actually, I would like it for our room, and we can give the guests our old mattress because, like, we sleep here permanently, so shouldn't we get the better mattress? You know, it's my rationale. So yes. I let my parents sleep on the new mattress for the first night as, you know, as thank you for coming and thank you for helping us get the mattress and yada, yada, yada. And then I was like, all right, on Sunday, I'd like to move it. But the problem is I would need 2 bed frames now because we have 2 mattresses. And y'all, sometimes the universe is good. A lot of times it's bad, but sometimes it's good. And sometimes on your buy nothing group, while your dad is in town with his pickup truck, someone is giving up a queen size metal bed frame that is like looking a little vintage. It's looking a little like, you know, Haunted Mansion vibes, which happens to be the theme of your bedroom, even though you are an adult. No shame. Very Victorian, you know, vibes. And so I messaged this lady and I go, hey girl, is it still available? I didn't say, hey girl. And she's like, sure is. If you want to come pick it up. I'm like, hells yeah, I do. My dad's in town with a pickup truck. So my parents thought they were coming to visit me and I made them do labor. So thank you, Mom and Dad, I was like, you thought this was done when I finished like moving in college and stuff. No, I'm in my 30s and you're still helping me move stuff. So they helped me go pick up a bed frame and set it up. And so when we came to move the other mattress in this room, Evermore went down. They can't be mad because, you know, Dad was out here doing the Lord's work and accidents happen. So we'll fix Evermore. I'm very happy with my new bed setup. Happy days. Sleep has been like, this is how you know you're in your 30s when you get so excited to sleep. Like I truly look forward to sleeping every day. It is maybe my favorite pastime. So that's my story. I just want to give a big shout out to Wade and Jackie. You know who you are. for being so helpful. Love you always. Thank you so much. And yeah, that's that. I'm counting down the days to Screaming in the Woods. Do you know what I realized? Well, first of all, I just want everyone to know how good of a person I am because I did try to. No one took me up on this. So I was like, okay, I guess no one needs a ride. I really did try to be a good person. And I was like, people are flying to Atlanta. I heard people talking about that before. And like, there was maybe a chance of meeting up for rides. And I was like, I am driving. Like, I don't mind. I'm like going in that direction. I hate driving into Atlanta. I hate the airport. But like, for the people, for the sisterhood, you know, I'm driving. I don't want people to rent a car for no reason or whatever. So I put a shout out into the group chat and no one took me up on it. So I don't know if anyone needs a ride, but I guess nobody needs a ride.
The only person flying in now is Emmy.
Okay. Got you. All right. So there's only one person. Because I was like,
so there's only one person.
Let's talk about airports before. But I did realize, and this is how lame I am, but excited, that there is a store in Alpharetta that I've been wanting to go to since I saw it on the TikTok. And it's kind of en route to where we're going to Scream Into the Woods. So I can stop at this store in Alpharetta. So I was like, this is meant to be. But anyways, yes, Screaming Into the Woods. We're counting down the days. And we're going to time travel to 2017. First, I'm going to take a sip of Dr. Pepper.
Very important to do.
Do you want to know what else rabbit hole I went down this weekend before we time travel to 2017? Taking a step further, I forgot that the Civil Wars existed, and then I was reminded of them this weekend, and I was like, dang, they really hit, man. And I'm so sad that whatever it is that happened, an affair. I think it was an affair. I'm sad that happened and that they are no longer a duo because they were really...
Who?
They were really hitting the Civil Wars. They did probably most notably their song Poison and Wine and Safe and Sound that they did for the Hunger Games soundtrack with Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift, because she's re-recording all of her, obviously, songs, she got them back together. They haven't been a band or a duo. I don't do you call 2 people a band? I don't know. The White Stripes do, so I'm going to call them a band. They like they have not done anything together since 2014 when they called it quits. And in 2023, Taylor was like, hey, like reached out to them like, hey, I'm recording all my back catalog. We did a song together for the Hunger Games. Do you want to do it? And they agreed, but they recorded their songs separately, very like Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton of Twisters pre-show, and they're not credited as the Civil Wars on this version of the song. They're credited by their names. Like they do not go by that moniker anymore. Like they're like very, and everyone thinks this is the rabbit hole I went down this weekend. Okay, y'all, that what had happened was, as they got together, her husband was their manager, and all of a sudden they like break up, and everyone thought like, man, they have like really good romantic chemistry, which of course is just like heteronormativity a little bit, like a girl and a guy singing love songs together. But like I'm telling you, there was a connection. Okay. So anyways, everyone was like, oh, like her husband's manager. He was married too, or at least like in a long-term relationship. I'm not certain. But then all of a sudden out of nowhere, and they are like winning Grammys. They are collaborating with Taylor Swift on like the biggest movie of the time, The Hunger Games. That they are everywhere. And all of a sudden out of nowhere, they debuted their sophomore album. And that, I think, like something on that wins a Grammy, and they just decide to call it quits. Like, out of nowhere, they just post like, hey, due to, creative differences, we're no longer going to work together. And everyone's like, they like romantically were linked, and like her husband was their manager, and like he probably was like, what the heck? And he's like, him or me? And she was like, oh, and probably like picked him. But anyways, y'all, they slapped. And I'm really sad that they had to, like, I don't know, sleep together probably and mess everything up.
Yeah. I had no idea what the fuck you were talking about. I was like, what do you mean you forgot the Civil War happened?
The Civil War, no, like the band or the duo, the Civil Wars. I was like, why did I like forget? Like they were the moment in 2012. Like the second Poison and Wine hit Grey's Anatomy, like they were every little like indie millennial twee Tumblr girl was like all about them. And they took me back, Listening to the podcast about Grimes this week and then like thinking about the Civil Wars, I was like, am I on Tumblr in 2012? Truly. Like, what a time. Y'all had to be there.
Oh my God. Grimes. What a story there.
What a story. I have thoughts, but we should time travel, I suppose. Actually, Grimes will come into play later when we are reading the first chapter. All right, so y'all know, if you don't know, I know you're going to be like, how does Grimes come into play? But just wait for it. She does. If y'all don't know by now how many of our books we are in, the first time we pick up a new book, which we are now entering Once and For All, 2017's classic Sarah Dessen novel, Once and For All. We time travel to that year to give us a little refresher of what was going on in the world, and then we read the first chapter. So without further ado, buckle up. We're in our DeLorean. We're here. We're in the first Trump presidency era. Take it away.
We have no idea what's about to happen to us.
Pandemic, it's coming. Ah, scary.
So I'm not going to lie to you. 2017 was not a good year. It actually was a bad year. When I looked up pop culture moments from 2017, they were not good. We have the Ariana Grande concert bombing. We have the Las Vegas concert shooting.
Oh, geez.
And we have the Me Too movement.
Okay, yeah. 2017 was, man.
Oh, I was like, am I going to be able to find anything good?
Yeah.
I think so. I think I did it.
I feel good. Also, quickly about Ariana Grande and the Manchester, I can talk, bombing. Someone pointed out that her opening up the Oscars was Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Like, I think, if not one of the last times she sang that publicly was in honor when they did that, what's the word I'm looking for, like aid concert for the victims. And I was like, F me up. So like, I remember watching that then and then having her open the Oscars this year with that song. Nope. Instant waterworks. Anyways, just wanted to throw that out there. Carry on.
So the first item I wanted to talk about from 2017 is Kendall Jenner's infamous Pepsi ad.
Oh my God, yes. Who can forget when she ended racism, y'all?
She ended racism with a Pepsi. That's all you need.
It was great. We're all in this together now. Just, the cops and the protesters. That was 2017. Wow. That's wild.
Dude.
What a crazy time. That did not. I feel like they pulled that pretty quickly, or like put out like an edited version because it was like pissing off so many people. They were like, not a good look.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what came from it. What.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure what happened to it, but
What a
yeah.
time.
What a time. Stranger Things season 2 came out in 2017, which is also crazy because I'm like,
That makes me feel wild.
I do want to say
how much quicker they came out, because the first season premiered in 2016 and the second season was out the next year. Ain't happening now.
Nope, we're waiting years for these.
We're waiting years.
I will say though, me and Bethany talked about this out of the podcast, but I want to say it in the podcast. I am loving what Millie Bobby Brown is doing with her fashion, with her vibes. I love it. I love it. 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
Keep doing you, girl.
Yeah. Just like you can't win, because like if you get too sexualized, they're like, you're trying to win it. But then if you're like, I'm gonna dress mature, but in kind of like a different way, then they're like, are you trying to be a mother? You literally can't. And I love that she called out people that were journalists. I say in air quotes. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you should, because you missed my air quotes. That yeah, I was like, I don't know why people are hating. Like, I think she's really slaying the game. Like, I do prefer her with dark hair, but that's just a preference of mine. Like, if she's loving being a blonde, rock being a blonde. Like, everyone gets to have their blonde moment. Like, slay queen, you know. But again, yeah, like that's a personal. I would never go online and like make a comment about. I mean, I have now, but just saying, like, I'm not gonna leave a hateful comment about it. Like, you're allowed to have your preferences or whatever. But her fashion, her vibe, her everything has been fantastic, and I think that she is just like maturing into a beautiful young woman. Yes,
I agree. I'm really nervous about her whole getting married at 20 thing, but
still very apprehensive about that. Yes.
Fingers crossed. You know, things like this have worked in the past. My brother got married when he was 20. They're still together, 3 beautiful kids 20 years later.
Like, it happens. They could work out.
Happens.
I wish that for them. I truly, I do. Hopefully they'll be like, Dolly Parton and Carl Dean, where they're just like together for 60 years. Like, that would be great.
Rest in peace.
I know, rest in peace.
Oh.
What an absolute legend you were. Thank you for sharing Dolly with us all these years and letting her shine. We respect that about you, sir. You seem like you were a real one.
Oh.
But yeah.
Poor Dolly.
But yeah, Stranger Things season 2, the big sophomore season. That's always a tricky one to get right. I think they did a good job. It's not my favorite season of Stranger Things, but I still think it's a great season. And
yeah,
what a time. There we were. But the trailer for Stranger Things season 2, I think, is their best trailer that they've ever done for any season of Stranger Things, and I will stand by that. The Thriller trailer, come on, y'all, iconic. Yes, that was good times.
I don't recall, but I do believe you.
Look it up. It's so good. I mean, like, all their trailers are good, but that trailer was like chef's kiss.
I really, really liked season 3 was the mall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Season 3. I really liked season 3.
Yeah. Season 3 was fire. Season 3 is probably, I don't know. They're all so good.
They're all so good.
Probably my least favorite season, but I still think it's a strong season. I still think it has season 2 moments, and the trailer is still really good. The trailer for season 3 was pretty fire. It was whatchamacallit, Welcome Home by Motley Crue, and then Baba O'Reilly for the second half of it. Yes, I do remember the trailer songs for Stranger Things trailer. No shade. Which is a great trailer as well. But season 2 trailer, just like nothing hit like that one. Nothing hit. But yeah. All right.
Good to know. We'll have to look it up.
Look it up. It'll change your life. So the greatest movie trailer of all time is The Social Network, and that will never be topped, I think, in the history of pop culture. It was the moment. It was fantastic. That has nothing to do with 2017. I just wanted to throw it out there.
We did read a book from The Social Network year, I think, though.
Yeah, I think so. 2009. That sounds right. I'm pretty sure we did.
Justin Timberlake.
Justin's gonna ruin the tour.
He really had quite the year last year.
Sure did.
Straight into the garbage, I think.
Real.
So Stranger Things. So some movies that came out that year. The first one that I want to mention is Wonder Woman, and that was me and Andrew's first date.
Oh, I love that.
So
that's so
Wonder
cute.
Woman.
Great movie. Gal Gadot have some thoughts and feelings about you, but Wonder Woman is a great movie.
That first movie was very good. She can, maybe get fucked. Coco, another delightful film.
That is a good one. God, the music is so good in Coco. So good.
Get Out.
Oh, that's another good one. Man, 2017 was like hitting it with the films, I gotta say. They were definitely hitting it with the films. Get Out was great.
Yes. I also have Star Wars, I think it was episode 8.
Yes, that is correct. 7, yeah, 8 is correct. Yeah. Last Jedi.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second Guardians movie. And then I also just want to give a shout out to the movie that came out this year called Boss Baby, because I just think that's the funniest name for a movie of all time.
There were a lot of jokes about Boss Baby at the time because it is just a very funny name for a movie.
My coworker calls her toddler Boss Baby, and it's so cute. Also, speaking of movies, this was the year when they read the wrong card for Picture of the Year at the Oscars.
Yes, that was an iconic moment. I'm a big Oscars viewing girly pop. I know not a lot of people do, as is shown in the declining viewership every year, but I watch them every year and I look forward to it every year. I love award season, even though it like does and doesn't mean anything at the same time. But that was an iconic moment to have watched that live, and then like everyone's like instant reactions online about it. And I also am going to say something. I don't think this is controversial. No, it kind of is in the film sphere. Everyone like has a massive like love for La La Land, and I do not get it. I don't think it's that good of a movie. I'm sorry. And so when they first read La La Land, I was like, oh, dang it. Ugh. And then they're like, we're wrong. It's Moonlight. And I was like, yes! I was so annoyed that La La Land won.
Yeah, I enjoy La La Land for the sets.
Yes.
And I did like the dancing. The storyline's depressing. But like, I really didn't think the storyline was going to be that depressing.
It's very depressing. I love the actors.
Yes.
I went into La La Land wanting to like La La Land because I felt like everyone and their brother, like on film Twitter, loved La La Land. And I love musicals. And I was like, And I also just like, not to be that person, and I'm not the first person who said this, but I don't know why, whatever his name is, Damien blah blah blah, I can't think of the director's name, is like obsessed. I get that you like jazz music and you are a white man, but could you please stop making movies about white men saving jazz? Because I just think it's weird considering who created jazz music. Like, if you want to make a movie about jazz, could we have some black people in it? Okay, thanks. Is that just me? I was like, oh, I love Ryan Gosling, but I don't know if I love this like white savior jazz boy thing going on. Not to say that white people can't enjoy jazz and play jazz, to be clear. But it was weird to me that you make two very white people in your jazz movie. It's
whitewashing.
Whitewashing jazz. And I didn't feel good about it, personally. I didn't feel comfortable with that.
I didn't even really I've only seen this once, and I saw it when it came out, and I totally forgot that was even a thing. Yeah. So, yeah. Thumbs down for La La Land.
Yes. And I also just think, and this is no shade to Emma Stone or Ryan Gosling, who I think are fantastic actors, but get people who can sing for your musicals.
Yeah.
People who can sing. Like, Emma Stone is just not the strongest singer. And that's like no shade to her. I am not the strong. I would never be cast in a musical. I can't sing. I think she did a really good job for an actress who trained to sing, but she's not like a born natural trained singer. So just like,
yeah. It's like Mean Girls, the Mean Girls movie.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, ooh.
They have Renee Rapp.
Yeah.
next
And then,
to
like,
a random girl who doesn't sing, and it's so obvious and it's so distracting. I could not finish that movie. And I
Yeah.
love Renee Rapp.
exactly. Yes, same. And she's fantastic. And again, she came from Broadway and can sing. And it's like, it's right
Right.
there. Like there are so many musical theater nerds in this country. Let me tell you, they're out there. Let them hire them. Like, just please
Yeah.
hire them. And I think that it shows. I mean, like something with like the success of Wicked, for instance, if you hire people that can actually sing for your musical, it makes a better musical. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
But
Oh my
anyways,
God.
love you,
That
Emma Stone
Wicked
and Ryan
was
Gosling.
so good. Okay, so TV shows that were big in 2017.
Coming with it. I'm like blanking.
First one,
Okay.
Handmaid's Tale, baby.
Oh God. Oh God. How appropriate that it started when it did. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's ending now, I think. I think this is the last season. I stopped watching it at one point because it just got to the point where I was like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. I'm suffering watching this.
Very dark.
I mean, it's very well done. It's a very good show, but it was just like the subject material at some point, it's just like, I can't actually do this anymore. Oh, this is a shout out for me and only me.
If you can't shout yourself out, who can you? You know what I mean?
Exactly. In 2017, David Lynch brought back his very famous TV show Twin Peaks for a reboot.
Yes.
Rest in peace, David Lynch, who recently passed away. A true icon. True visionary. And so the second Twin Peaks came out, and it was so David Lynch. It did it even have anything to do with Twin Peaks 1? Not really. No. But David Lynch's brain is just like at one point they just show a bomb exploding in black and white slowly for like literally, I'm not even kidding, 5 minutes. Like, I'm not even kidding.
This is what we're watching.
But it's just like, because it's David Lynch, it's just like, you know what? I'm here for this because this guy's nutty.
You're like, I accept this. He was a true visionary, kind of a weird dude, but that's usually visionaries are.
Yes.
Kind of a weird dude.
Oh, rest in peace.
Twin Peaks. I never watched the reboot of Twin Peaks. I tried to get into the OG Twin Peaks because everyone was like, this is the most iconic show like of all time. And I was like, okay, yeah, like sign me the hell up. And I just never really like fully clicked with it. I also didn't give it like a super like big try. I think I watched like 2 episodes and was like, I just don't know if this is for me, which is fine. But yes, that's one of those things that like I know so many people that like it had such a cult following. Like it's very well beloved and respected.
I'm one of those people. I love Twin Peaks. There are 2 books that the writers of Twin Peaks have published about Twin Peaks. It's just like furthering the lore. And if you're a Twin Peaks fan and you're listening to this right now, you need to get those books because they add, like, Twin Peaks already has a lot, but it adds even more. And the first one is like a history of Twin Peaks, I believe. And then this, like the town. And then the second one is from the reboot. It's like kind of, and honestly, you need the reboot one because you're going to leave that reboot and you're going to be like, what the hell did I just watch? But yeah, anyway, they're really good. I'm a big Twin Peaks girly.
I respect that. Yeah.
Wrapped in plastic.
It's a very beloved show.
Okay, that was my Twin Peaks. 2 really excellent shows came out this year.
Okay.
I don't know if they came out this year, actually. I didn't do my research that well. I just searched like top TV shows in 2017. The Good Place.
Oh, The Good Place. Yeah, it's a good one. Did it come
so
out 2017? Good. I don't know. Hard to say. It was a good show, though.
Time is nothing, and nothing is time.
I don't know where we are anymore.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yes, iconic.
Iconic.
Everything,
That show is so good.
the writing, the costumes, the characters, the cinematography, just the whole. I love the aesthetic of that show. Oh, hello, so much. I was not prepared. Not prepared for a phone call there. Yeah. Oh my god, what a fantastic show! Honestly, so good.
So good. So good. Riverdale also may have come out, or it was just very popular
around that time. Yeah, that sounds about right ish.
I loved Riverdale. I love how off the fucking rails it went.
It was just so wild.
It's just like it starts off so innocent. Archie's like, I don't want to play football, Dad. I want to sing. And then we're at the end and they're like jumping into different realities and stuff. It's absolutely
there's like cults, there's this, there's that. Like it is wild, but in the best possible way.
I have a little Jughead right there.
Oh, look at little Jughead.
When I was working in a law office for the 3 months that I did that before I was like, fuck this. One of the lawyers, he brought it in for me because he gets like nerd boxes. You know, you can get like subscription boxes with just like random shit. So he was like, yeah, I got mine this month and it had this in it and I don't care about the show at all. So here you go. And I was like, thanks.
Aww, that's nice. I like it when people see nerdy things and they think of me. That makes my heart happy.
Same. I wish I could remember his name. I can't remember your name, but I remember your face, I think. And I love that. Thank you.
Big thanks.
So I looked at the top 100 songs and oh my gosh. How did I forget to mention this? 2017. Taylor Swift released Reputation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm amazed that you didn't lead off with that, to be honest.
I didn't write it down because I was like, oh, I'll remember that. I don't need to write it down. So I just started talking, but
when we say iconic. People are clowning again for some announcements with this iHeartRadio mabobber. Although not really so much for Rep TV, more for announcing whatever the heck it was that she was filming in Vancouver. But still, people be clowning. So.
Oh, she was filming something, wasn't she?
Yeah, I love that we all kind of like collectively forgot for a minute because like there was just so much going on. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They were filming something in Vancouver. They were filming something on the last weekend. And like this tour is about to get honored at the iHeartRadio. So of course, if she's going to announce something, it's probably like in regards to what that was. Which I'm excited to hear about what it is. I also am still holding my breath for Rep TV. Your move, Taylor, whenever you want to announce it.
I know. I want them, you know, when I want her to announce it, while we're all at Screaming in the Woods.
Wouldn't that be amazing? How iconic would that be if we were like, they were all there together screaming in the woods and it just like dropped. I do have a working theory. This is not actually a working theory. It's just a weird coincidence. But I feel like Taylor or Ed always drop music before I'm about to take a trip. So I weirdly thought about that the other day. I was like, you know, it'd be really fun to listen to on my way to Screaming into the Woods, Reputation Taylor's version. And I was like, I wouldn't put it past her because it like always like just weirdly links up that like there is new music to listen to like before I take a trip. So again, balls in your court there, girly pop, if you want to go ahead and give us what we're all waiting for.
Yeah, seriously, we need it now more than ever, girl. Need it now. We're suffering. Okay.
It's just we're there's so much suffering. Like,
please. And like honestly, I feel like being like so jib, is that the word? Glib.
There you go. That was it.
Glib. Being so glib about everything is actually harder and getting harder and harder and harder and harder to do. And actually, even just doing it right now, I was like, because it's so bad.
Yeah, I just need something to like. Make me happy and look forward to. That sounds so bad. like it's like kind of true.
Yeah.
I laugh. I laugh so I
once-
don't cry.
Once Screaming in the Woods is over, I'm gonna have to do something because
Like
I
what?
don't have
Yeah.
anything planned
You have
after that.
You have to plan something. I literally have just been like trying to plan little, even if they're not like big things, like little things to give me something to look forward to and give me like a little bit of hope. Because if not, I will just, as I think we all would, just fall to pieces. So
Yeah. It's hard to find the joy right now, but we are a podcast that tries to take you out of reality, give you some, even though we talk about it pretty regularly.
Pretty regularly.
So sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're going to try to keep that. Again, 2017, kind of a crap year, but we did get Reputation. We did get, it sounds like some great TV was going on. Some pretty darn right good movies. An iconic moment in Oscars time. So, like, look at that. Even a year that you kind of are like, oh, 2017, like, what happened? Was there anything even good? Like, there was still some good. There was some light, you know? And I'm just, yes.
And there will be some this year. I'm certain of it.
Exactly. 100%. Here. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else on our 2017 time travel before we jump into Once and for All?
The number one song was Shape of You by Ed Sheeran.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense. This was during the Divide era. Divide. This is when I went to Argentina to see the Divide tour. So yeah, it's 2017, right around this time of year. Well, in May, but yeah, getting close to this time of year. What a great time.
2017 is when you and Mike started dating too, right?
Yes. Yeah. So see, 2017 was good. Yeah, because I moved to Orlando in 2016. We met in 2016. But we officially started dating in 2017. So, yes. What a good time. Yeah. We found, Mike Lane and I found love in a hopeless place.
Couldn't say it better myself. There are so many relationships that have come out of that restaurant. And I am like, wow, that's crazy because that restaurant was.
Yeah. I really think that whole like joint trauma thing, that they're really onto something with that. Yeah. And it's staying lighter later, everyone. That's exciting. I saw a post today. It was kind of funny about like, oh, daylight saving time. That means my seasonal depression is going to clear up. And it's like, realizes that you just have depression.
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny. That's funny, but true.
Yeah. I've been sleeping a lot, which I know is not good, but I don't know what else to do. So
uplifting episode. All right. We're back. Here we are, 2025. Things are great. They're not, but it's fine.
Things are good.
Fine. And we are going to jump in to Once and For All, which is dedicated to Regina Hayes for making me think, making me laugh, and always making me better.
Oh, so cute.
Lovely.
I really like, I don't know if your edition has this, but there's like a little like floral thing behind. It looks so pretty.
I love that my phone background, which is from my wedding, is this is like super glary because of the light is there, but it's very like fitting with the book that we are reading.
It is.
Go away, light, so this can focus on this. I don't. Anyway,
your wedding was
but
very cute.
Very similar color vibes. So slay to that, and it's like the bouquet is in the forefront of my picture, so it's just funny that this is like someone tossing a bouquet. Makes me happy.
I love that.
Yes. So yes, to Regina Hayes, and then here we are, chapter 1, which says, "Well, this was a first." And this is where we jump right in. Also, before we jump right into this novel, can I just say, this is how much we stress out now because we get made fun of mispronouncing names. When I was reading this yesterday, I literally went on to YouTube pronunciation. I know that is not a 100% reliable source. I would pronounce this name Luna, like my dog's name Luna, just spelled differently.
Yes.
YouTube pronunciation tells me it's Luna. I wrote this name down on a piece of paper and showed it to people at work today, and they all said Luna. Okay, because this is how paranoid we are, because we get made fun of for mispronouncing names. Michael Ann texted me today, and she's like, "Can't wait till someone tells us we mispronounce this name." And I was like, "I know. I'm so paranoid about it." So I'm sorry. If you read the audiobook and it's not pronounced Luna, let us know, but nicely, okay? As you can tell, we're kind of falling apart this year. So
be nice to us,
be nice
please.
to us. Let us know nicely and we will fix it. But for today, we are saying Luna because that's how I assume you would pronounce this name. Anyhow.
Yes.
So our girl, our protagonist here, is knocking on a door to talk to this lady, Deborah. And she asks if she can help anything. She says, according to my mother, this was rule 1 in dealing with this kind of situation. Don't project a problem. So you're gonna be like, "What's wrong? Is anything wrong?" Whatever. It's like, "Can I help with anything?" Which, like, yes, she's right on for that. So she said that a bride has basically locked herself in, and she doesn't feel like the most equipped to handle this. This is usually apparently a William problem. So we're kind of getting clued into William must work for her mom. They all must work in the wedding industry. Okay, cool. He's apparently the bride whisperer. And, he's good in a crisis. And our girl Luna here does not really feel like this is her area of expertise. So she asks if she can bring her water. And she says it wasn't ever the true solution, but a water never hurt. And I think that apparently is another one for mother's belief. And I think that is so true. Truly hydrate, queens. Okay, queens and kings out there. If you're having a little bit of a bad day, and maybe you just haven't had enough water. Truly, it's having a headache. Hydrate. Going through an emotional spiral. Hydrate. It's not going to solve everything, but it will help.
It will help.
And that I was not when I was younger, but I've really, the older I get, I'm like, my dad was really onto something without telling me to hydrate business. Get your amount of ounces you need in a day. Anywho, so she's all alone in this situation. She grabs a bottle of water and steps inside. She talks about her client, which is someone named Deborah Bell. She's soon to be Washington, ideally, if this all goes well. Right now, she's kind of got a little bit of cold feet. So apparently homegirl is crying. She is like definitely having a little moment. And our girl is trying to like calm her down a little bit. And she's like, your makeup looks great. Let's keep it that way. Even though it's like already like an eyelash is hanging on by a thread. But she's trying, she's already upset. You don't want to add to the spiral, So she says, Deborah asks her, can I ask you something? Which, like, Deborah, girlfriend, I know you were stressed out. I know you were spiraling, but now is not the time to ask a teenager for advice. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, this is really who you're going to ask as a teenager. So she asks her, can I ask you something? And of course, our protagonist is like, oh, dear God. Like, no, please don't. But she's like, sure. And she's like, do you believe that true love can really last forever? Deborah, she's 17. Why are you asking her this? Deborah, I love you. I wish you a lifetime of happiness with your future husband. But why are you asking a 17-year-old this? This is how you know you're spiraling. So,
yes,
of course, our protagonist, she hasn't like really officially mentioned her name yet. Again, we know it's Luna as far as we know, but she hasn't officially said that yet. Is all like, oh God, I don't know how to respond to this. And so she asks again. Deborah asks again. And just then, Deborah's dad, the Reverend Elijah Bell, comes in. And he's not really giving her a lot of like, soft words or comfort or he's giving her more the tough love, which is like, I paid for this wedding. You're going to get your cutie little patootie down. Apparently the dress was $5,000. You're going to get down there and you're going to get married to this man because we did not put all this time and effort into this. So he tells her, she's like, I just got scared. Her dad tells her like, get it together. And, he says, if you don't walk down that aisle right now, I'll marry Lucas myself. Not the best words for this moment, Dad. She's struggling. So Deborah bursts into tears. And there's, our poor protagonist still trying to like help her out when, thank God, William finally shows up. And the bride whisperer is here. He's here, to whisper in her ear and make everything great. And he's like, tell everyone we just need like 10 minutes. And she's like, an eyelash takes that long? And he's like, it can take 20 minutes if that's what needs to be. How an eyelash takes how long it takes, okay? Like, you don't understand, So she tells, William, she's like, I'm sorry. Like, I probably didn't do as good as you did. And he's like, oh, like you did fine. And she asks him, what did you say back there? And he's like, oh, about true love. I believed in it. He's like typical. Sorry. She asked, what did you say? And he says, I said, of course, I couldn't do this job if I didn't. Love is what it's all about, which it's like, of course. She's a great wedding planner line. And so she's like, wow, you really believe that? And he's like, no, God, no, definitely not. But, it's what we needed to say to get her down the aisle. So she's all spiffed up. She's not having an emotional breakdown anymore. They're like, you look so beautiful. You've got this. You go, girl. And she heads on down with the bridesmaids and, is feeling good about herself. And, hopefully things are good with her and Lucas. Although apparently her mom and William don't think so. Her mother guesses, I'm going to say 7 years, long enough for a couple of kids and an affair. William says that he's like, I'll give it 3, no children, but an amicable parting. I almost said an amicable pairing. And so apparently this is like a common thing that they do, usually when they're cleaning up. Because again, like weddings end for the bride and groom, but like not for the wedding planner, they have to clean everything up. They usually kind of like make bets, apparently little like wagers about what they think, which like, I'm going to be honest, if I was in the biz, I'd probably be doing the same. So I'm not going to judge them for that. But part of me is like, oh, come on, guys. Really? As she's about to walk down the aisle. Come on. And you're like, a lot, like weddings are stressful. Like it probably has something to do with Lucas. Okay. Deborah was just stressed and she has every right to be. So I feel a little bad for her, but she says that, our girl here says that, to me, the real test was in the departure. There was just something so telling about the moment when everyone gathered to see the bride and groom off. It wasn't like the ceremony where people were nervous and could hide things, or the reception, which is usually chaotic enough to blur details. With the leaving, months of planning were behind them, years of life together ahead. So she says she's always careful to watch their faces, taking note of fatigue, tears, or flickers of irritation. I didn't make a wager as much as a wish for them. I think that's a little bit nicer. Yeah. I always wanted a happy ending for everyone else, which is like, yes. So this is where we learn a little bit about the fact that her mom is Natalie Barrett, and apparently a Natalie Barrett wedding is like the thing to have in Lakeview. And it sounds like it probably costs a pretty penny. She says it's both a spot on a wait list and a huge fee required to even be considered for one. Should we learn a little bit about, basically the different, like they're willing to take it to the lake, to a winery, to the top of a mountain. Like there's going to be, small weddings and big weddings and anything in between. But like, if you are 2 people getting married in Lakeview, you want a Natalie Barrett wedding, like she is the creme de la creme. So, the Deborah Bell wedding, she says it was company policy that we referred to all planned events by the bride's name as it was her day, which it's like, yes, of course. This is also like, so it's like, that is accurate, but this just gives that kind of like Southern Belle kind of thing, which is funny because her name.
Yes.
But yes, it's like, it's her day. So of course it's the Deborah Bell wedding. And it's like, well, it's kind of theirs. They talk a little bit, which is funny because of course, like we're 2 people who like in recent memory planned a wedding. Ugh. I know, unfortunately, we love our husbands. It's just planning weddings it's an experience.
It's not for me.
Yeah, I'm personally never doing it again. But kudos to people who enjoy it. But so she talks about that the choice of a live band was increasingly rare these days, which is true, which apparently her mother, who's the creme de la creme, prefers a DJ. So that kind of makes me feel better because I was like, good to know that a DJ is preferred by this fictional wedding planner. And then they talk about that like buffets and carving stations and all of that is kind of all the rage. And I was like, yes, spot on. That definitely is like way more common than like a plated dinner. Not to say that plated dinners don't happen still, but like buffet is kind of the way a lot of people have gone. So she says, Deborah, despite the earlier dramatics, it seems like her and her new husband are having a grand old time, having a happy ceremony and reception. As they head off, she says, good luck. In her head, I'd thought as the taillights turned out of sight, may you always have the answers to each other's most important questions, which like, I think that's really beautiful. And I think that is, an important recipe in marriage. Here she talks about kind of the cleanup, like when the wedding is over, it's not for them. It's time for the recap and wager, as well as like, checking for any lost items or anything of that nature, cleaning everything up. And then they pack everything up. I like the different things that are described that's in kind of like their kit and caboodle. So she's like, we would pack our cars with like clipboards and file folders, mending kits, double stick tape, boxes of Kleenex, spare power strips, phone chargers, and Xanax. Yep, and head home. I like the yep, parentheses by Xanax. I was like, spot on. Yeah. Let me tell you, you probably need it. Okay. So she says they usually have one day to recover, and then they're right back at it, like right to on to the next wedding, essentially. She says, you know, like as much as they joke, her and her mom are just like amazing at this, and they do love the business, and you know, it's their passion and they're good at it. And even before, like she, our again protagonist got involved. She was kind of always involved, like sitting in her mom's office, listening to her talk about it, and now she's actually like doing it, working over it this summer. This is where we get to learn a little bit about her mother. So she says that she is her only family, and she's like, unless you counted William, which really we did. They'd met 16 years earlier. When I was 2 years old, my dad had just walked out on us. So this is where we learn about her parents, who were kind of like little hippies. It kind of sounds like they got married pretty young. They had like a little hippie life. They both, at least mom, it sounds like, came from money. They met in college at a campus protest, which is like, of course, that's where the hippies would meet, against the public education system, which was apparently oppressive, misogynistic, cruel to animals, and evil. Yes, agreed. It could be better. And she says this was verbatim from the flyer I'd found in a box in my mother's closet. So this is, they kind of talk about they get married at this festival. Like they're just like really kind of like, you know, off the beaten path, kind of beatnik hippies, essentially, which is so funny considering that now she's like the most expensive wedding planner in town. Apparently her mom, obviously we know her name is Natalie, and her dad's name was Lewis, which is how she ends up with, we think Luna, but we could be wrong. And if we are, be nice to us. But so this is where the Grimes of it comes in. You know how I said it would come during this. I do think there's an interesting subset between people who grew up wealthy entering their hippie stage, and it never lasts, because it's like you, in a sense, to be someone who can be a bit beatnik and be like, we're going to go live off our chickens in the cabin, have to have a level of comfort and have to have something to fall back on. People that were not raised in wealth, like I'm not saying obviously a lot of people that aren't wealthy are very progressive and will protest and whatever, but like you can't be doing this, you know what I mean? Like you can't be going to Burning Man every year because you can't afford it. But people that they think they're like rebelling against their parents will. And in listening to the Grimes podcast, it kind of made me think of this. Like she went through this like very like, alternative phase, and now she's kind of circling back around to like how she was raised, like, you know, kind of coming from a certain class and how they think about things. And I feel like her mom is like that, basically. It's like, you had your little fun for a couple of years. Then you like grew up out of that and like turned into basically the thing that you hated, like the thing that you had rebelled against. Like she literally tells people, I guess, like the mom in this story, like when people are like, oh my God, this is a steep price, is it worth it? And she's like, well, I got married at a dumpster fire festival and that didn't turn out well. And it's like, geez, OP, like, you don't have to spend a lot of money or have an extravagant wedding for your success of a marriage. I understand she's running a business and she wants the people to sign the contract, but I was like, you're that person who like came from wealth and for a few years was like, but daddy, I love him, and was like slumming it and like playing a hippie, and then you like grow out of it and like turn into like a capitalistic show. I get it, you know, we all gotta make money, but still, I also am like, that's disappointing, Natalie. I feel like I would have liked college age her, like when she first got married, her in her cabin with her chickens. I don't know if I love this version of her, but you know. Apparently after a few years, her father was killed in a car accident. This was after her parents had already split. And, yes, William was hired years later after her mom had already had like a big following. Neither of them, even though they're in the love business, are big like romantic people. She says William, who had been out since about age 8, is just her first official gay character in a Destin novel, because I feel like it is.
I feel like it is.
Right? Which was kind of crazy. 2017. I mean, bless Sarah for finally doing it. But I was like,
Was there?
is this our first gay character? Is there someone in What Happened to Goodbye? No. Is someone?
I think there is another gay character, but they are like
more background than
they're like super background, but I cannot.
Yeah.
Cece?
Cece? Somebody who knows better than us, tell us. I feel like there is someone, but not like a predominant named character in chapter 1 kind of character. So
yeah.
Yay for William. It's like the last character is kind of like, when Disney was patting itself on the back for having like 2 men dance in Beauty and the Beast, and this is like real representation. But yes, I'm not sure. I feel like I could be wrong, but there might be someone, but not as predominant as this. Anywho, he has been out since about age 8, had yet to meet any man who could come close to meeting his exacting standards. He dealt by this by also leaning toward less than ideal choices with no chance of long-term relationship potential. So they're both very like, we don't believe in love, even though our whole job is basically love, which tracks. She says, even as a kid, I knew this was dysfunctional, but unfortunately, I'd been indoctrinated from a young age with my mom and William Strong, off-repeated cynical views on romance, forever, love, and other key words. So it was confusing, to say the least, yes, considering their jobs. She was like, on the one hand, I lived and breathed weddings. Like, this was their job. This was their whole thing. But then on the other hand, I had to hear them, repetitive commentary about how it was a sham. No good men really existed. And we were all better off alone. She says, it was no wonder that years later, when her friends kind of started getting crushes and boyfriends going, quote unquote, boy crazy in school, that she, she says she had the world weariness of a bitter midlife divorcee, repeating all the things I'd heard over and over like a mantra, which, if you like hang out with a middle-aged divorcee, that probably does turn into your personality. But it's funny to think of like a 14-year-old in high school and everyone else is like, oh, boys, being like, men are scum with your time. And you're like, okay, like what made you so jaded? Like what life have you lived, So she's always just like, kind of warning people and was not really like into men. But she says, but then the previous summer on a hot August night, all of that had changed suddenly. I did believe, at least for a little while, the result was the most broken of hearts, made even worse by the knowledge that I had no one to blame for it but myself. So obviously we kind of learned that maybe for once she did kind of open her heart and it did not end well. So now we, after kind of getting to know William and Mom and a little bit about our girl here, we flash back to the end of the Deborah Bell wedding. And she's like, her mom's kind of, wrapping up one last sweep. And she says, like they're just kind of doing like the last little sweep of everything. And when she heads out, she sees, I do like when she's talking about like the things you have to look for, which sometimes is like 2 guests who have had, getting a little too close for comfort. And it's like, yep, that does tend to happen at weddings. When she heads out though, she sees one of the bridesmaids, who is kind of having like a little bit of a moment. She's like dabbing at her eyes, and Luna wonders, what is it about weddings that made everything so emotional? It was like tears were contagious. Bridesmaid looks up suddenly seeing her and, kind of gives her a sad smile. And she says here, there are times when you intervene and times when you don't. And I'd long ago learned the difference. Some people like their sadness out in the open, but the vast majority prefer to cry alone. Unless it was my job to do otherwise, I'd let them. Which, being vulnerable is hard. And some people would prefer just to do it on their own time.
Yeah.
But that is chapter 1 of Once and For All. We just like kind of dipped our toes in, kind of set the scene. I'm already very intrigued by the mom. Very intrigued by William, probably because they're like the 2 people we know most about, even including our own, girl. Obviously, she hasn't completely opened up too much about herself yet. So, yes, I am excited to see where it goes. I have read this one. Saint Anything I had not read. This one I did read when it first came out. But I remember like one of the main plot points because it's, I remember some bits of it, but other bits of it are kind of hazy. So I'm excited to kind of, as I read it, be like, oh yeah, and see how it goes. Because when it started, I was like, yeah, okay, yep. So far it's clicking, but we'll see if there are bits that I'm like, I don't remember this at all. So I'm excited to reread because I've only read it once, and it was many years ago now. So yeah,
I've never read it.
yes. So it'll be your first time on this journey. I'm excited for you to go on this journey. I feel like this was one that was definitely very good. I just, 2017, it was a time. I was at there I was, young love, falling in love with my husband who had time to read books. So it was like, oh, yep, I read it and just kind of moved on. So I'm excited to really kind of sit with it and dissect it. Because again, it's going to take us months to finish it because that's how we do on this podcast.
Yep.
But with that said, this has been Once and For All. Thank you for joining us, coming to 2017 with us. And I hope that y'all are taking care of yourselves. My little bit of joy that I've been doing this month is I have been participating in a challenge that I've come up with myself, which is called the Alphabet Challenge, of which I'm trying to keep my nails green all month, but like a different shade every week. I do my nails at home, in case anyone's wondering. This is not as an expensive endeavor as it sounds. I do my own nails. I paint them myself. Because it's March, and I was like, green is fun for March. And in honor of when you play Elphaba on Broadway, you're usually on a year contract and you have to like basically keep green nails for a year. And as someone who used to work at Universal and we had like very strict nail policies, I remember just like how fun it was when you're on vacation. Like I can do something different with my nails. And so I'm always like, mad respect to Elphabas on Broadway. I just have like variations of green nails. So I was like, if they can do it for a year, I'm going to do it for a month. And it's something that's been bringing a little joy. And everyone at work, like this week, they were like, what's your green of the week? And I was like, here we go, ladies. This is the green of the week. So it's fun. So yeah, whatever you have to do to spark joy in these dark times, do it. Take care of yourselves, and we'll be back next week for Chaos. Bye.
Bye.